Welcome back to the preview, guys. Welcome back to another Premier League game. This time we're going to be taking on Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. We've not played them for quite a few years, especially in the Premier League. So it's going to be a hard game, especially we've got to understand where Sunderland are in the table. And that's no luck. That's nothing like, like I said, it's not luck that they're there. If it was after 4 or 5 games, you can understand, but they've played 10. We've had 2 international breaks. We're going into the 3rd international break. Sunderland are sitting 4th in the league table. So we're going to preview the game. There's a lot to talk about. Granit Xhaka as well. He's pulling that team forward, making massive strides. And, they look like they're going to be staying up in the Premier League this season, but they could go one further and try and get a top 10 finish. So these are the games that you've got to win. I mean, if you want to win the Premier League, you've got to look back at these games and think, you know what? We went to the Stadium of Light, massive trip, all the way up to the northeast, and we got 3 points. You don't want to come back down from there, and then you've got a draw or you've got a loss on the scoreboard there, because that could be very impactful. So we'll talk about Sunderland first, and then we'll move on to the normal bits that we do. First of all, then, Sunderland, as we know, they played on Monday against Everton. So we played on Tuesday, they played on Monday. So there's not a massive turnaround in between two. The only difference is we played on Saturday, they didn't. So the team that played against Everton, we've had Rolfs, if I pronounced that right, but we all know who that is, their goalkeeper, playing immensely at the back there for them. They play with a back 5, especially when they're in defence, obviously. So they've got Mukiele, Ballard, who's looking good for me, and then Gertrude, Ronaldo, and Hume either side. Then they've got Sadiki, Granit Xhaka, who we all know very well, and then Traore, Lefay, and Isidore as a centre forward. Now we know Sunderland are going to try and play set pieces. That their plan on Saturday night will be to get a set piece and try and win the game, or go for a draw, whatever it is. But set pieces are going to be a massive game. They're going to have a massive part to play on this Saturday, not just for Sunderland but for us as well, because again they're going to have a low block. I don't care that they're sitting 4th or whatever. Any team play against Arsenal, they will be defensive, whether it's at their home or our home. They may have 5-10 minutes here or there where they can have a bit of good play, but overall, generally, they will be on the back foot, will be on the front foot. So it's about penetrating that defence, trying to, break that low block down and getting that all-important goal, because the last 8 games, all it says is if you get 1 goal, we're winning the game. And that is hopefully all that will be needed this weekend, because we've got to understand Mikel Merino, yes, he's come into the team, he's got a couple of goals. We've got to try and get him into the game on Sunderland as quick as possible, get a few touches, and try and get him to score a few more goals and get us over the line. But Sunderland will make this hard. I want to say as well, if we win on Saturday, that'll be 4 out of 4 since the international break. So that'll be maximum points, 12 points, which we all expected. Fulham away was difficult. Palace at home was difficult. The tricky bogey teams that have cost us points in the previous years. Now this is the last test before we go on to international duty. So we get 3 points there, and then we can put our feet up and watch the game on Sunday and hope for a draw. So it's a massive game. Sunderland are going to be a difficult nut to crack. I mean, because look, it's at the Stadium of Light. The lights are going to be on. It's a 5:30 kickoff. The fans, don't forget, Stadium of Light is a massive stadium. They've got about over 40,000 fans there. It's bigger than Stamford Bridge, for those who don't know. And the fans will make it difficult. First 10 minutes, we've just got to play our game and quieten them down. Now, head-to-head. Let's get into the head-to-head. Now, this is looking actually, quite good for us. Now, the last 8 games, we've not lost a single game in all competitions. Most recently, we played them in December 2021, and that was in the Carabao Cup. We won 5-1. I can't really remember that, even though it was 4 years ago. I really don't have any memory of that for some reason. Previously to that, there was in the Premier League in 16-17. We beat them 2-0 and 4-1. We had the likes of Sanchez, Ozil, Giroud, that sort of team back then. We drew 0-0, beat them 3-1 the FA Cup, and the previous three we won, we drew, we won. So we've not lost. I looked at this a couple of days ago. The last time we lost against them was in February 2012. So it's 13 years. Surely they're not going to get that win against us on Saturday, are they? Because if that was to happen, a lot of bubbles will be popped and burst on Saturday. And then if City, for example, win, all of a sudden it's 3 points. 3 points is nothing in this league. One loss, one win for them, they're back in it. So look, this is a massive game. We've got to go into that game 9 points ahead of City, 10 ahead of Liverpool. Then we'll see what happens on Sunday. But the head-to-head, like I said, we've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the last 8, drawn 2, and there was 0-0 draws. They've only scored 1, 2, 3, 4 goals against us in the last 8 games. Let's not pretend that we've not conceded. We've not conceded a goal for eight games. That's over 10 hours. That's massive. So that will hopefully continue. Lineup. Let's get into the lineup. So first of all, Miles Lewis-Skelly hasn't been called up to the England team. Obviously, there's 2 ways of looking at that. For Miles Lewis-Skelly, it's disastrous. Obviously, I believe there's only one more international break after this before the World Cup. So if you're not getting into the team now, you're playing catch up, and you've got to get into the next one, because if you don't, you're probably not going to be going to the World Cup, which is massive. I think Lewis-Skelly should go there, even if he's not going to be a starter. Quality player. When he's been called upon for England, he's been amazing. I think he got his goal on his debut, didn't he, a year ago. So look, Miles Lewis-Skelly hasn't been picked for England. I just wanted to, clarify that. So the lineup for me, David Raya obviously starts again. That's another clean sheet during the week in the Champions League. So on the right, Timber has to play for me. Ben White obviously has played a few more minutes here and there, but Timber is our number 1, and he's got to play this game because it's the international break. We don't rest anybody on Saturday. To partner him, it's Saliba Gabriel. Arteta's had his press conference out today, and he said there's been no more injuries. On the left, Hincapie's played quite a few games now as well, which is interesting. Arteta's really trying to find a way to fit Hincapie in. So could it be Hincapie, Calafiori, or Lewis-Skelly? I think this one's got to be Calafiori, only because of the experience, the height, because obviously he's tall, he'll win a lot of balls, the physicality side of it as well. I think it suits Calafiori, and anything other than Calafiori, I think will be quite surprising. Centre mid, Zubimendi's back. We've seen how much we've missed him. We missed him in the Champions League, but Norgard obviously, played well when he came on, and obviously he's played in the Carabao Cup as well, so we're more confident if he needs to come on for the last 20-30 minutes, whatever, and do a job, he will be able to do that. So Zubimendi plays. Thankfully, we'll be able to see his technical ability again on the ball, off the ball, and just his overall general play. In the middle, Odegaard obviously isn't back yet, so we're going to have to play Declan Rice, who's turned his season around. I think he's having an amazing season, not just in terms of goals and assists, but his overall play. I mean, his last game against Burnley, like I said, he didn't miss a blade of grass. He was literally a lawnmower all over the pitch. Rice and Eze plays. Eze to hopefully break them down if it's possible. Rice, obviously dead ball situations. He's good at shooting from outside the box anyway. He's good at defending. We need Declan Rice for his overall play. And then up top, obviously, on the right, Saka got his goal in the Champions League. So that's 12 goals in the Champions League for him, which is a phenomenal record considering he's only played like 20 games in the Champions League. So Saka starts for me. He's gonna turn it around sooner or later. I know he's getting a goal here and assist there, but we know the standards Saka is able to reach. So those standards, hopefully he'll reach that tomorrow and after the international break. On the left, Trossard has to play because Martinelli, I believe, is still a bit short. But it was interesting because Arteta said there is some news about maybe somebody could be available for tomorrow, for Saturday. But we don't know. I don't think they'll be available to start anyway. Ethan Nwaneri doesn't play for me because he's struggled this season. He's got his goal in the Carabao Cup, which was which was beautiful because we needed it. It was the goal that broke the deadlock. But in the Champions League, when he got his start, he didn't take that opportunity again. And every time he's played this season, he's looked quite weak, unfortunately. Sadly, he has. So Eze, Rice, Zubimendi. On the right, it's Saka. On the left, it's Trossard. Again, the goal contributions, Trossard is top of the list this season, believe it or not. And then up front, Gyökeres is injured. He's not been called for Sweden, which is good. Hopefully he's back for the North London derby, and it's just a knock, precaution, that sort of stuff. Could even be on the bench on Saturday, but I'm not too sure about that, because if he is, then he'll more than likely go to Sweden because they really need some wins. So up top, it's Mikel Merino, always doing a job, and he's been called upon in that centre forward position. And what a player! What a player Arteta to actually find a spot for Mikel Merino up front, and the goals he's contributed for us and Spain, and the way he's just so humble and doesn't, overdo it. It's just nice to have someone like Mikel Merino in the team, honestly. And I think he's finally getting his flowers that he deserves. A lot of people and a lot of fans are actually mentioning Mikel Merino a lot more now, because we appreciate the work he's done for us when we've needed him to, which isn't easy for a centre forward. It's one of the hardest positions in the pitch, especially if you've never played there before. You've got to get goals, you've got to win us games, and he's won us a lot of games. He's scored against Madrid and all sorts. Top player. Now, the prediction for me, a lot of people are saying it's scary. We've not got Gyökeres. You've got to focus on what we do have. We might not have Gyökeres, we might not have Havertz, we might not have Madueke, Jesus or Odegaard, but what we do have is Saka, Trossard, Merino, Eze, Zubimendi, the back, which is made out of concrete. You're not getting through that wall. You've got to focus on what we do have. So the team that we have compared to the team that they have, which is full of internationals, by the way, don't get it twisted, they're going to give us a good game. We need that goal in the first half, no matter what, because if we do, they'll come out a bit more and it'll suit us. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Arsenal. I was going to go 3. I don't think we'll lose our clean sheet, but something could happen. We could shoot ourselves in the foot. We always do in these types of games. But I'm going with a 2-0 win to Arsenal. I don't think this should be a game that the media is making it out to be. Yes, it's going to be difficult. They're going to have their moments. But we're Arsenal. We're on form. Won our last 10 games. Not conceded for more than a month. It's coming up to 2 months now. Why can we not get a win at Sunderland away? We're winning at the Bernabeu. We're winning at all sorts of grounds. Why can't we win at the Stadium of Light? 2-0 to Arsenal. 3 points on the board. Maintain that top spot. 9 points clear, hopefully, come Saturday night.